Welcome back to Cigar Time, your friendly Tuesday night show all about premium cigars. And today, we're going to review a Perdomo Habano Corojo. But before I tell you that, or I guess the lovely Miss T will tell you about that, I just want to remind everybody, as we get towards the middle of September, all September is Perdomo month.
Perdomo month.
And Scott's going to tell you, what are we doing for Perdomo month, Scott? You don't remember.
We're doing good stuff. All month long, if you buy 4 Perdomo, you get either a Robusto Champagne Noir or Champagne Sun-Grown for free. If you buy 6, you get 2 of those cigars free. And if you buy 10, you get 3 free. And then we're going to have events in all the stores, and you get a lot more during the events.
And boxes.
Boxes are, well, during the events, boxes, or if you buy any 25, you get 8 free.
Okay.
Plus,
What is that?
plus Joe's going to have some extra swag and all
That's
kinds
cool.
of stuff. Yeah.
The good stuff.
Yeah.
That's a very hearty offer.
Oh,
You get
That's-
all the laurels for that presentation.
oh,
Oh my
jeez.
That's
God.
later in the show, Mr.
No, you
Hardy.
can't stop. There's no stopping.
That's as close as you're going to get.
I
There's
just
no
gotta
crying on
say-
television.
Can we talk about when the events are, or we can wait till later for that?
No, you can tell them now. Go
Now?
ahead. Tell them now.
Tell us.
Now.
All right, this Friday, we're going to be in Horsham from 12 to 3.
Oh, yeah.
And then Colmar on this Friday from 5 to 3.
Where is Colby?
5 to 3, 5 to 8. Where is Colmar? It's up there by the post office. Saturday is Fraser from 12 to 3, and then Ludwig's 4 to 7. And then the following Monday, which is the 15th, they're going to be in Westchester from 5 to 8.
Oh,
Very nice.
So
Wow,
meet
that's
Joe
it.
Winder, meet the crowd, get some great discounts on, or get some free goods, great
Yeah.
swag,
I like
great
free
good
cigars.
swag.
Swag.
Love swag.
Right.
I got lots of swag.
Can we smoke yet?
Yeah.
Well, let the lovely Miss T tell us about the cigar as we light and cut our
Oh,
cigars.
thank you.
With our
Our cigar of the day
Cigar.
is the Perdomo Habano Corojo. It's a Cuban-seeded Corojo. The binder and filler are both Nicaraguan. The sizes are Churchill Corona, Gordo, Presidente, Robusto, Toro, and Torpedo. The taste profile is buttery, toasty with earth, leather, and Scott's favorite, meaty tones.
Meaty.
buttery and toast, is it like
I
butter
said
and
buttery.
Butter toast with
Yeah.
meat.
It's toasty with earth, so the earth was toasted in, with
It's buttery
toast? Did you
toast.
say the earth?
She did say
Earth.
that.
Did you say
No,
earth?
I said earth.
You said
did.
earth.
I said
Like
earth.
Quiet earth.
I just want to point out that
So-
Perdomo has one of the strictest quality.
Strictest?
Strictest?
Strictest.
Strictest quality control standards in the industry, which is the reason why their cigars are so good and consistently on a regular basis.
All comes with the elocution.
Yes.
I think if it's buttery, toasty, and meaty, it sounds like lunch.
Oh, I just want
It
to
does.
also point out that it has 2 bands. It has a foot band, which you need to take off before you smoke. And
Good idea.
the regular band as well. And the tobacco is from Esteli, Condega y Jalapa.
Ooh.
So enjoy.
Well, I think now in our
I just
continuing series with the family Perdomo, it's now time for Nick and Nick. Here we are again with Nick and Nick Perdomo. And an interesting question I have, having been in the business a long time, is the evolution of the second, and in your case, the third generation coming into the business. I mean, I see it at some companies, don't see it at other companies. What's your feeling about all this?
Well, I think the landscape is changing in the sense that we're seeing less and less art. Before, we used to be more traditional, more family.
Yeah.
And my son spent a lot of summers in Nicaragua, and I never tried to push either my daughter Natalie or my son to be in the business, but they kind of gravitated to it. And the truth of the matter is, Nicholas was going to college, and he's been wanting to be in the cigar business, I think, since he was about 1. So I never wanted to push him, but he's really taken to it. He's been on the road this year. He's been in Atlanta. He's been in Las Vegas. He's going through Ohio, through the Southeast. And I always told him, just like my father said, if you're going to walk the walk, you got to walk the walk before you talk the talk. So I want him to learn, since we're a vertically integrated company, he has to learn everything from seed all the way through the sales of it. And I think our consumers and our retailers deserve that. And he's really taken to it, and my daughter has too. She's more into the advertising and marketing aspect of the business.
I see her all over Facebook.
Yeah, she likes that, and she was at the trade show this year. And then Nicholas is more into what I do. He's more into the manufacturing, the sales points, and I think him being at the University of Miami and studying, business and learning, I always try to explain to my kids that really college is stretching the brain, and that, Art. It's very important.
Discipline.
Yeah, it's discipline.
Now, curious question. Sure. I know your father a long time, and I know he's a pretty down to earth. Keeps that buck pretty close. So when you want to negotiate your pay package, you get raises or hard work or overtime or anything.
Art, stop that. Okay,
I'm just glad that my dad's given me the opportunity, to be honest with you. That's the truth.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
I raised him right.
Should be a politician.
No.
Now, you collect certain items, if I recall correctly. Don't you collect watches?
Yeah, I love watches.
Yeah, I know.
I like watches.
I know.
Yeah, that's my passion.
I know.
After cigars, I've always said it's always good to have good food, good cigars, and good watch. It's not a bad thing.
That's amazing. I have a safe deposit box filled with all kinds of exotic watches, expensive watches, not so expensive watches, just rare things. And every day I wear this $25, forgot what it, I bought it at an outlet mall in upstate New York about 20-some years ago. And no matter what watch I would wear, I have Presidential, I have a Constellation, I have a Patek tank watch, Stamos. Nothing gets more comments than this watch. It's amazing. It's a, what's it say on there? I can't see without my glasses.
That's my whole
Fossil.
thing.
Fossil. It's a fossil watch. I can't. And I remember, I'll just tell a real quick idiotic story. Years ago, I go into the mall to get a new band. Every few years, you got to get a new band and a battery. And a little teenage girl working the counter, she takes a look at the watch. She said, "Do you know what you have there?" I said, "Yeah, it's a Fossil that I bought a long time ago for next to nothing." She said, "You could probably sell that watch for $100. Don't mean to go away from the show, but is there anything else new or new sizes or extensions coming out?
Yeah, we have the new Perdomo 20th Anniversary Pyramid that just came out. It's hit your store, which is a 6, and the cigar starts at a 48 and ends out to a 60. We have 2 new line extensions on Perdomo Reserve 10th Anniversary, where we have a 5x60 and a 7x60 that joins the Super Toro, which is a 6x60, and that's about it. That's enough. Normally we just come out with, and just like we had talked at the last show, we came out with a 12-year vintage, but these new blends coming back and forth consistently, it's tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All these companies keep coming out with line extensions. Some of the more larger companies in our industry, a couple major companies in our industry, are always trying to push the second and third tier boutique lines off the shelves. I noticed that. But I also noticed that in the end of the day, quality wills out. People will not be fooled by fancy names when you can put out a decent cigar at a modest price and keep your customer base loyal to you. So in the end of the day, you win the shelf space. Because with a chain like ours, we're always faced with the decisions of what to bring in, what not to bring in, and a lot of the major companies make it very attractive for us to buy their product. But yet I never want to be beholden to just a few companies, because we want to represent all the cigar companies at least that we can. And certainly Perdomo occupies a very honored space with us in that regard. So I mean, it's hard. Like, I love the champagne. I mean, it's hard to beat that cigar. I mean, it's smooth, it's easy, it's not a real powerful cigar, which is what I like. As I've gotten older, I kind of like to downsize them a little bit. I don't smoke quite as powerful cigars as I did as a younger man. But we just love your product. I mean, everybody in the organization is always talking about it. Your rep is always in here. Joe does a great job servicing us.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's a working man. He puts it together.
Yep.
So again, I want to thank you all, and we hope we'll see you next week. You'll stop by for us. And any final thoughts?
Well, real quick, one of the things, I take a lot of market segment from him with the younger smokers, and a lot of people ask him, you know, when he was at the University of Alabama or now at the University of Miami, he's gotten a lot of the young folks to smoke cigars, and I think it's, why don't you talk a little bit about what you see the younger guys doing right now?
I do see a lot of younger guys smoking cigars
Thank
today.
God.
I really do, and especially growing up in Miami,
Right.
the culture, you know, everybody's grandfather used to
Of
smoke
course,
cigars,
yeah.
you know, so I do see a future with premium cigars.
Boy, I sure hope so. That's my fear. Are we bringing enough younger people into smoking and to continue to have the continuum of viable sales? That was my only fear, because they do try to scare them.
I believe there is a future.
I hope so.
I do.
Well, again, thank you both for coming,
Thank
Art.
you.
Thank you.
and we'll hopefully see you next week.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
We're back. So I'd like to get everybody's first impression as we go around the table.
You've been
She did nothing during that whole 7-minute thing that Nick was talking.
well. So you're gonna start with me instead?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I get the buttery toasty
Do not try this at
right
home.
away. It's got a real creamy, toasty kind of flavor. The leather a little bit. Fortunately, since it's not one of my favorite flavors, I'm not getting a lot of meat. But I'm also very early in the cigar, so
Hey, you're
things have time to develop.
You're only about 65 cents in.
Yeah.
I get more of the cream cheese with a bagel. Toasty.
As long as it's not lox, that's
Right.
fine.
Do you put a Bermuda onion and lox on there?
No, no lox.
Some whitefish salad?
No,
Some whitefish
God,
salad?
stop.
Come on.
No.
Admit it.
Keep going.
Admit
No.
it. Sable, oily sable?
No.
Little lettuce and tomato?
Yes.
Got it.
No.
You don't know
Oh
anything.
my God, that's just terrible.
No. He's describing the sandwich, folks.
Yes, the sandwich, not the cigar.
What does he know? Now talk about the cigar.
I do get a creamy taste to this, toasty, creamy taste. So that's my first impression.
I get the leather. I'm not getting the cream of the toast yet.
Really?
More leathery and a little cedary.
T?
I'm getting buttery on my first initial light up, and a lot of smoke.
Again, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Perdomo must be known for a lot of smoke.
Perdomos are
getting-
known for smoke.
Which is
They've
where
got
we're
that
getting the
machine where they
meaty.
put all the
What
smoke.
they
Yeah,
insert
the
it.
smoking, yeah.
have the smoke machine?
It's like Lawrence
Definitely
Welk had the
getting
bubble
buttery,
machine.
creamy.
Yeah.
Nick has the smoke machine.
Yeah. Absolutely, why not?
Dum, bum, ba dum, ba dum, bum, ba dum. No.
Oh my
Is that supposed to be Lawrence
God.
Welk?
Is that Lawrence Welk?
That was Lawrence Welk.
Yes,
yeah.
friends, raw smoked skincare cream really makes the difference.
I used to watch that with my grandmother.
That was a very bad impression.
No, it wasn't. Go back and watch the tape. That's dead on. Spot on.
Are you gonna-
Lawrence
The
are-
Welk.
rest of the show like Lawrence Welk.
No.
Are you going
Lawrence Welk.
to introduce the lovely Lemon Sisters?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I think they're 93 years old.
Very, very good show for you.
Oh my
There is a
God.
little spice in this. Not a lot.
Well,
next?
I think it's time for us to discuss today's topic.
I think it's time for us to leave.
It's time for us to go. Somebody's coming up with the hook, because I think the tomatoes and rotten fruit are about ready to be thrown up
Yeah.
here.
That would be funny. We should do
I think today.
That would be hysterical. Somebody starts throwing,
Start throwing tobacco,
lettuce and
yeah.
stuff.
that in the wall.
I think it's time for us to discuss again today's topic, which is the most unusual cigar you've ever had or smoked or God knows what with.
I
know-
like
Everybody's looking at me.
I'm looking at.
I'll go first.
this
Oh, you
way.
go
You
first.
go first.
Oh,
Carrie.
I'm
you keep
first.
track of everything?
Yeah, I'll keep track of it.
Mine was the, several years ago, the...
Oh,
Sopranos.
nuts. I was going to use that one.
CAO, when the Sopranos came out with a gift set, it had Really?
That's why
Really,
I
It had a
guys?
baseball bat,
I had a baseball
a
bat.
champagne bottle,
Yeah.
and I forget, like a
Is that the one that was like
thing.
shaped
Yeah.
like a machine gun or something?
No
would've been
machine
good.
gun. That would have been pretty cool.
But yeah, I actually smoked the champagne bottle one.
Did you?
Yeah, it was like real thick on one end and thin on the other.
Yeah, the one of mine is is from the same collection. I had the baseball bat. Actually, yeah.
Would y'all share?
No,
No.
it's different times. I don't sit around smoking with them all day.
CA, you know what? Actually, I have to talk a lot about CA. Also had another. They had a trumpet was the Brasilia line too.
Yeah,
Actually,
we did.
yes.
I remember
Yep.
that. Yep,
Yes,
yep.
yes,
I
they
do
did.
remember that. Tia?
Mine is the Colibra. Say
Well,
it
tell,
right?
tell us what a colibra is.
A colibra,
Or tell them what a colibra is.
It means snake in Spanish, and it's actually 3 cigars that are twisted together. And they have a couple theories of why they did it. I won't go into it because I'm not sure if
Oh,
they're
I can tell you.
I
real
was
or
going to say,
not.
Paul,
Okay,
it's
I'll
actually a
let-
really interesting story.
Yeah, well, because
don't know if
they
Paul
used to
make it
give the
interesting.
rollers.
Rollers
certain
were
amount
allowed
of
to
ci-
take home
yeah. Mm-hmm.
3
That's right.
cigars a day
Yeah.
to smoke on their own.
Yep.
And the way that they could keep track of that, and remember the cigars were fresh rolled and soft, they would twist 3 together, tie it with a ribbon, and that was their allocation for the day.
Yep.
And then at some point later, they'd have these 3 cigars twisted around each other, and people today look at those and they're not sure, should I smoke all 3
3
at
of them or
once?
not?
Do I
No,
take them
you
apart? What's it going to
untwist it.
look like?
It's actually 3 panatellas twisted together.
I've never smoked one, but how?
Really? You
I
never smoked
love
one? Really?
them. They're
No,
awesome.
wow. You know who makes a really good one? Davidoff makes a really
I
good
have a
Libra.
Davidoff.
They're about
It's
$50.
Very, yeah, they're very expensive.
can't
They're
smoke
very
it,
good.
though.
Why? It does look kind of weird because
Because-
you stick it in your mouth, it's all crooked and
I
everything.
wouldn't
I
want
love that.
It's
But
a,
it's weird.
it's
Is there
a,
drum
I
and
love the
everything?
hook.
it's
Yeah.
a challis
I
cigar.
love the hook.
Yeah, it's crazy to
got a
look at.
hook.
It's crazy to eat. It's crazy to smoke.
Crazy to eat, for sure.
Yeah, but
No
it's,
one's
it's
got
pretty
it.
cool. It's the Davidoff one is very good.
Paul?
Well, the strangest, most unusual cigar I ever had was part of a series of experiments I was doing in very spicy cigars. And it was a cigar that we called internally at the factory beso caliente, which means in Spanish hot kiss.
I remember that.
And in this early experiment, when we were trying to get just the right flavor, we actually took the wrapper leaf and put it in a pressure cooker with tiny little pieces of diced up jalapeno pepper and pressure cooked it for a long time. And what you got was a wrapper. It looked very light. It looked like a mild Connecticut kind of wrapper. And the second you put it in your mouth, before you even lit it, it would light your whole face up, your mouth would go numb, it would move all the way out, your nose would get numb, your eyes would start to tear. And just because I was curious, I brought that to one of the cigar trade shows, and I wanted people to sample it, but I would tell them the only way you're allowed to have a sample is if you smoke it right here, right now. Because I always wanted to
You
see their
always
reaction.
Say that though.
And that became, in that year's show, known as the, well, you'd have to bleep it, the Holy S cigar.
Right.
Because every single person, and there were hundreds, that came into the booth and put that cigar in their mouth, the first words they would say was, "Holy S."
Holy sheep
Holy
dip.
crap!
We sold those. We had those here.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you call
I
it?
didn't get one.
Was it the hot kiss?
Hot,
Hot
it was,
Kiss.
yeah, in
Oh, yeah,
America,
the
in
Hot
America it was
Kiss.
called
Yeah.
Hot Kiss,
Yeah.
but the
Big
real,
lips on
Yeah,
them.
I remember
but the
that
real
one.
name was Beso Caliente, which
Yes.
sounds cooler than Hot Kiss.
No, I like hot kiss.
So that was the most unusual cigar I ever
I
had.
like two hot kiss.
I can't. Well, does it have to be a tobacco cigar?
Well, what
What
else
kind of
is
cigars
there?
are there?
No Bob
Chocolate?
Marley stuff here.
Well,
Bubble gum?
one
It was an El
time,
Bublo.
many years ago, I attended a anniversary party for the Spartacus 150 at the Tropicana nightclub in Havana. And besides the wonderful cigars, everything was extraordinary. When they served desserts, they served a load of various cakes and cookies and stuff. But on each tray, for the amount of people that were sitting at each banquet table, they had a chocolate cigar made to look like a Cohiba Esplendito. And it was made out of Cadbury is the English chocolate?
Yeah.
Cadbury. It was made out of Cadbury chocolate. And I want to tell you, it had a real Cohiba band on it. It had a real band, and although I didn't light it,
Thank God.
it certainly went into the system, went into the body. And I guess if you want to think of a pure tobacco cigar, probably the furthest thing that came from you, and I think we discussed it on a previous show, was the swamp
yeah.
tobacco.
Swamp tobacco, yeah.
That was very unusual.
Maggots.
Well, you know,
Magus.
Paul, with all your experience in owning factories and growing and planting and blending and everything else, You must have come across some unusual cigars in your.
More unusual than the Hot Kiss?
But enlighten us. Anything that rivals that or comes close to it? If not, just shut up and we'll just keep rolling.
I'll shut up.
Okay, we'll just
Do you
keep
know who
rolling.
else
Somebody
makes
puts birthday cake in their cigar.
Birthday cake?
Birthday cake,
Well,
never
that's
heard
like
of
my
that.
chocolate cigar.
They do. No, they
I
put
never
the
heard
actual.
that.
Yeah.
Well, Fuente makes the Opus X comes in a lot of different crazy
Yes, they do.
sizes.
Yeah, it does
What,
go.
the football and all those other ones.
And Drew makes some unusual sizes.
Oh, the
Drew
egg
does.
cigar. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
I
You
actually
ever
have
had
a
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
I have a couple
egg
more, too.
is a.
Yeah.
It looks like a.
Never smoked
looks
one.
like
It looks like an
pane-
egg.
It looks like a panatella, and in the center of it, it looks like it's pregnant. It's just big and round, and it's a 72 ring gauge
Yeah,
in the
we-
center.
years
It
ago.
looks like
Yeah.
a snake that swallowed a rat.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And when you're smoking it, it feels like it wants to fall out of your mouth because it's so
Sold
heavy.
that.
Really?
It comes in a
Yeah, we
natural.
had it.
Yeah, it comes
It
in a
came in-
natural Maduro.
Yeah, it came in this box.
Yeah,
Do-
yeah,
When
we
it's cellophane,
had
you
it.
can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know?
It's actually a pretty good cigar.
You know
too.
how some cigars come with multiple wrappers, like
Yes.
the barber pole type
Right.
cigars?
Yeah.
Another unusual one that I encountered, actually another one that I worked on making, was actually a camouflage cigar, and
Oh,
it was
that's right.
it was
Yeah.
it was for
Paul
military
Garrett.
people,
Paul Garrett had one of those, I think.
I don't know.
That was later. His was first.
and,
course.
and
Paul's always
different
first.
little patches of different wrappers all over the cigar, so that it looked like military camouflage.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah. I remember you tried to sell it to the PXs or something.
That's what I wanted to do,
yeah,
was to sell it in
yeah,
PXs.
unusual.
How'd that work out?
Here I
Let's
am.
move on. And much happier for the experience.
You betcha.
A little broker, but happier.
Little broker.
Well, I mean, trying to sell it to the government. All right, so now that we've gotten into our cigars, I think it's time for us to talk about the cigar.
I'll go. I think the cigar is very bold, satisfying, and smooth. I'm starting to get some spice. It's picking up, not too much, but just enough. I'm definitely getting the buttery, not really toasty or leathery, but I'm getting meaty. I think more of because of the smoke and just well-rounded type of flavors in this one again as well. Perdomo's just amazing. They just make awesome cigars. Can't really say anything bad about a Perdomo.
They
Paul?
I found that it mellowed out quite a bit from the initial light, but all of the same flavors are still there. I got the buttery, toasty stuff. I still don't get any meat. There is a, there is a little spice,
Where's the beef?
but it's very satisfying. That's a good word for it, because this, again, the flavors are dense. That seems to be a Perdomo thing, that the flavors really coat the inside of your mouth and they have a long finish.
Yes.
Scott?
I find this cigar to be like extremely straightforward. Like I don't, it's not extremely complicated. I'm picking up just a hint of licorice or like black licorice or anise.
Really?
Yeah, and
Wow.
I am getting the leathery, earthy, but I'm not getting the buttery, the toasty, and I'm not getting the meaty tones either. I think it's just a pretty straightforward, cigar.
Is that a good thing?
What's the price point of this cigar?
6 some.
6, depending on the size.
Yeah.
The Toro, I
Not
think, is like
Got it.
7 something. That's what we're smoking now.
Toro,
Around
Toro.
Yeah, the
seven.
petite
Where's the-
Corona's all the
Where's
way
the
down.
Robusto?
It's like 5,
Six-
6,
no,
6.
6 something.
650, 675.
Because the petite
somewhere around
Corona's
Okay.
like 4 or 5.
But that matters too. I mean,
Yep.
part of the, quantification, to me anyway, price is part of it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, give you.
I don't get the buttery taste of this, and I agree with Scott. It is very straightforward, and all the flavors are hinted at. I don't really get them pronounced like I get with some of the other cigars. Everything is hinted. I get a very hinty taste of cedar, hinty taste of leather, toast. It's very creamy. It's burning perfectly. It's very well constructed. But I don't get a lot of everything, just a little bit of each
Subtle.
individual.
As soon as
It's
I-
very,
It's very subtle.
Yeah, it's subtle. As soon as I lit it, though, I got that. It's like the buttery hit right away, and then it went away.
Yeah, I don't get the butter at all. But it is very, very subtle.
Yeah, subtle as
in
compared
all
to-
the in all the tastes.
Like as opposed to last week when we had the
Champagne.
Champagne
Noir,
Noir.
where that
Yeah.
was like
it was right,
Yeah.
right in
Right
your
in your
face.
face.
That was
yeah,
in your
yeah,
face,
yeah.
yeah.
I, for one, more agree with Rob. I get the very earthy. It's straightforward. The cigar burns perfectly. The taste is consistent throughout. It's not necessarily my cigar, but again, to those of you who watched previous episodes, just because I may not be totally in love with a cigar, I can appreciate a good cigar. Corojo is not my favorite wrapper.
Just thinking that.
Yeah, and it's a really good Corojo, and for you Corojo fans, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
But I've just never been a big Corojo fan, but this cigar is definitely a good Corojo. You know, just because I may not be in love with it, doesn't mean I can't be objective about it.
It also comes in different wrappers too.
Yeah,
It comes
yeah.
in
Yes, it
This happens to be
And
the
a
Corojo.
Maduro.
and Maduro. So if you don't like Corojo like Art doesn't, there's always something
Yeah.
you can get in the Habano line.
And I've had the Connecticut and the Maduro in this line, and they're, again, both excellent, straightforward
I
cigars.
love the Maduro.
Yeah, me too. It's my favorite one.
Yeah.
I guess it's time to rate it. We'll start with the lovely Miss Stacia.
Ooh. Taking in the price point perspective and the fact that it is, to me, on the full body side, I'm going to go with a 4.4.
Oh,
Did I take your number?
Paul?
you took my number. Let
Paul?
me give you my number. Yeah, I'm giving it a very straightforward 4.4. That's
Scott?
what it is.
I like the Maduro a lot better.
Yeah, so do I.
Echo your comments about I'm not a huge Corojo fan. And I am going to give this specific cigar, not the Corojo in general. 'Cause
Not the
I had-
Habano in general.
Not the Habano or the I have had others that I've enjoyed very much, but I'm going to give this specific cigar a 4.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
That's honest.
Okay. Rob?
I give this a 4.5.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's not too bad.
No, it's very good.
I think that for me, this cigar is a little bit better than the 4 that Scott gave it, but I would feel very comfortable and give it a 4.35. Again, Corojo is not my favorite, but this is a good cigar. It's well
It
made,
is
well
good.
constructed. It burns evenly.
I think
It
there's
holds the burn too, which is important.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't realize if you have to keep relighting a cigar and you're not interrupting the flow of the burn by talking too much, like some of us do.
We are.
That's a sign of a good cigar. When you lay it down and it's still burning a minute and a half later, that's also a
Yep.
sign of good tobacco
Yeah.
burning evenly.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So I guess that's all we can say about this. It's
What-
an excellent cigar
No,
for
it's
the
a very
money.
good cigar.
What's
Absolutely.
what's the
The overall rating?
yeah, what's the overall
Oh,
rating?
4.47.
4.4. Is he making that up? Do
Yes,
the math
of
at
course
home,
he's
people.
making it
Do
up.
the math
No,
at home.
you at
I
home,
would-
feel free to calculate, and if I'm wrong, let us know.
I would like to point out
Don't
something,
point out too much.
and this is indicative of the construction. If you look at every one of our cigars, we've knocked off the ash, and there's a perfect cone
Comes right
on
back
the
to it.
end.
Comes
Yep.
right back to it.
I haven't knocked my ash off yet, but I will soon.
That's because you have
Well,
to
knock
smoke
it
the
off.
cigar.
Try not to make an ass of yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time to say goodbye, quickly. See ya.
Smoke often? Oh.
Oh, smoke sweet. Bye
That's
bye
what
for
I tried
now.
to do.
Ciao for now, everybody.
Paul?
Smoke often and smoke happy.
Remember, life's too short to smoke cheap cigars. Hi, Mom.
As always, we thank you very, very much for your viewership. Let your friends and neighbors know the show's on every Tuesday night at 7:30. Anywhere, any cable, any satellite dish.
UMCN.
And
You
we should
know,
mention
love
our
good
website.
cigars. Help our show get maximum
I
viewership.
can't believe it's done already.
And go to
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.